So let's start with, as I told you, the future value, and then learn how to applicate or how to apply this future value to solve practical problems, especially the retirement plan problem. Let me just share the screen with you. Okay, so page, I think 32. No, 31, sorry. So the future value. So suppose you deposit $1,000, right, in an account today, leaving it here for 10 years. Suppose the account draws annual interest of 10%. So how much will you have at the end of 10 years? The answer, as shown in the following spreadsheet, is 2,593.74. So actually, this is a very simple, problem, because we are supposed to learn how to deal with the future value during your bachelor degree, courses. Let me just open the spreadsheet or the board. Let's open the board first. So this is the timeline, right? And we are here at T0, the current time. And we intend to make a deposit of $1,000. This deposit is supposed to offer 8% annually, right? But we intend also not to consume this interest, which means that we will invest the principal of $10,000, and every year, once we receive this interest, we'll add this interest on the top of the principal and then reinvest once again this amount. يعني باللغة أخرى راح يكون استثمار مركب. كل ما أخذنا أو كل ما وزعوا علينا الفوائد ما ناخذهم ما نستهلكهم، نخليهم نعيد استثمارهم مرة ثانية. So what we call the compound interest. الفائدة المركبة. واضحين؟ Suppose that, for example, we will invest this money during 5 years. So T1, T2, 3, 4, and 5. We'd like to know how much would we receive by the end of the 5th year, right? Now, every year we will receive 8% as interest, as annual interest. And we want to know how much our investment will worth after 5 years. So by the end of the first year, we will have the principal amount invested, which is $1,000, plus 8% of $1,000, which is $1,080. Now, as I told you, we will not consume the interest. We will not draw this interest. We'll keep them in the bank account, and then we'll reinvest the whole amount for the second year, which means that by the end of the second year, we will have $1,080 times 1 plus 8%. We can compute the amount. So 1,080 times 1.08, 1,166.4. And then we'll invest the whole amount for the third year, and so on. Now, there is a formula, a mathematical formula, which can give you directly the worth, or how much your investment will worth after 5 years, which is by the end of the 5th year, your investment will worth I0, which is the initial investment, times 1 plus the interest rate R power 5. Okay. So now, if you want to invest your money for 10 years, it will be power 10, and so on. All right. This is the future value, what we call the future value with the compound interest. This method can only be used when you assume that you will not consume your interest. ما راح تستهلك الفوائد. تخلي الفوائد دائما ايش؟ تستثمرها مره ثانيه وثالثه ورابعه، تسمى compound interest، مركبه، فائده على فائده على فائده، فوائد مركبه. وضحت الفكره؟ طيب هذا سهل. So we go to the textbook. See, so there's a simple way to get the result directly. Since we have $1,000 invested for 10 years, by the end of these 10 years, our investment will worth B5, which is the initial investment, $1,000, time 1 plus B2. B2, as you can clearly see here, is the interest rate, power 10. 10 is the number of years or your investment horizon. And you get directly, the result. And then there is a second way to do it by processing step by step, which means for every year you will compute the account balance at the beginning of the year, the interest, and total in account by the end of the year, and so on. I will show you how you can do it. So please, I'll ask you to open your an Excel sheet, because we can work together. So it's very important that we practice at the same time. The financial modeling is about learning by doing. So you have to practice, because as you will notice, we will not learn new theoretical concepts. We are just about practicing, using the theoretical concepts on Excel, and that's it. So it's all about practice. So let me just open. So I call it future value, FV. So I have an initial deposit. I have an interest rate and years. So I have $1,000 of deposit, an interest rate of 10%, and 10 years. I have to pay attention, guys. Sometimes they will give you an annual interest rate and ask you to build the table for future value with monthly interest. So in such case, you have to adjust your interest rate. Here we have, a yearly or annual interest rate, right? 10%. And you are investing through 10 years. Now, suppose that we have an interest rate of 10%, but we are investing our money in a bank account, which is offering me a monthly interest. So we can no longer use the 10% as interest rate. We have to adjust or to convert the annual interest rate into monthly interest rate. So the 10% should be divided by 12, and then the result you will have, we'll apply it for the table. I'll show you how later on, right? But keep it exactly. You have to pay attention during the exam. Do not, directly use interest rate. You have to pay attention. If this interest rate, which is generally given to you as annual interest rate, if this interest rate is conform or is in line with the period of investment. Annual interest rate, you should use it when you have annual investment. If you have monthly investment, you should convert this annual interest rate into monthly interest rate. If you have semi-annual investment, you have to deflate it or divide it by 2, and so on. So we can directly use find the future value of this investment after 10 years by using the mathematical formula, which is equal to the annual deposit times 1 plus the interest rate power the number of periods. And this is the formula text. So this is the formula text. See, B1, which is the annual the initial deposit, times 1 plus the interest rate power the number of periods, which is exactly the formula that we have used here. Initial investment, C, times 1 plus interest rate power the number of of years. Okay, so the PV function, FV function, good question. The FV function will be used only if we make the annual deposit every year, which means you will deposit $1,000 by the beginning of each year during 5 years or 10 years or whatever. Okay, here it's not the case because here you are making the initial deposit once. So keep it in mind. We'll deal it with the FV function later on. Now, in the exam, they can ask you to solve this question by using a detailed table. So you have to proceed the following way. We have to build, see, a table with 4 columns: year, account balance at the beginning of year, interest earned during the year, and finally total in account or account balance by the end of the year. So we'll start by first column, year, and we have account balance at the beginning of year. So we can wrap the text, so save space. So we just go here, see. So wrap text, have function here on Excel, on the top of your Excel sheet. Just click on it, and automatically it will wrap the text, so you can save space. Okay, so just you have to click on the cell, right, and go here. Which is an icon called wrap text. Just click on it, and automatically the text will be wrapped. Then you have the interest, then the account balance by end of year. So we have 10 years. So you can just type 1, then 2, then select the both cells 1 and 2, and then scroll it down. So Excel will understand that we ask him to make an implement or an increment by 1, +1 every time. See? Just to make the input for the first and second cell, add 1, 1, then 2, and then select 1 and 2 and scroll it down. Automatically, Excel will understand that you are asking him to add 1 every row. Now, the account balance at the beginning of year, we are, as I told you, we are adding $1,000 to our balance. حاطين $1000 في الحساب. By the end of the first year, we'll have 8%, which is equal to 1,000, which is the initial balance, times the interest rate, $100, which means that by the end of the year, you will have the amount invested at the beginning of the year plus the interest you have earned during this year, which means C8 plus D8. Now, the account balance by the end of the year will be the account balance at the beginning of the next year. يعني حسابك اللي عندك فلوس اللي عندك في الحساب آخر السنة هذه هيكون هي بداية فلوسك أول السنة الجاية، صح ولا لا؟ ما راح يتغير ولا شيء. يعني الفلوس اللي عندك يمكن 31 ديسمبر هي نفس الفلوس اللي عندك 1 يناير السنة اللي بعدها. So at the beginning of the second year, the account balance would be equal to the account balance at the end of the previous year, السنة اللي قبل. So equal to E8. And then we'll apply the interest rate on this new account balance. C9 times 10%. Once again, the account balance at the end of the year is equal to the beginning of the year plus the interest, and so on. So we'll not, redo all these, steps for each year. So we should be able to scroll it down and then let Excel do the work for us, right? First, you have, since the interest rate is fixed, is constant, so you have to fix the cell of the interest rate. For example, see here for the first year, for the interest cell D8. So we have it's equal to C8, which is the account balance by the beginning of the year, times B2, which is the interest rate. So the account balance is changing every year, but the interest rate is constant. Every time you have a constant cell in Excel, you have to put the dollar sign. It's a rule. Okay, let me repeat. Every time you have to deal with a constant cell or a constant number in Excel, you have to add the dollar sign. When you add the dollar sign to this cell, as if you are telling Excel, this is a constant cell. Please do not change it. Keep it constant. Even if I scroll down for the other cells, keep this particular cell constant. Okay, so I'll go here and add the dollar sign, as you can see, clearly see here. So it becomes C8 times dollar B dollar 2. By doing so, I'm automatically giving instruction to Excel to keep the interest rate fixed, constant. Now, I will select, so I will scroll it down for the second year. See, it's equal to C9 times B2. So Excel has changed the account balance at the beginning of year from C8 to C9, but it kept, the interest rate constant. ما غير البالانس بس ما غير الانترست وبس. شو نسوي بعدين؟ So we select the second row, then we scroll it down until the 10th year, and then we have the value of my investment by the end of the 10th year, which is exactly the same one I computed here using the mathematical formula. See? These are, the formula that you have used for the balance at the end of the year, but it is crucial, it's critical that you understand that you must keep the interest rate constant. If you don't add the dollar sign, you will ruin everything. For example, let me just show you what will happen if we do not add the dollar sign. So I will move the dollar sign here, right? Then I will scroll it down. See what happened. So Excel will be unable to do the work. So we have to pay attention to the dollar sign. Okay, so this is first exercise. Now, as per the question of your friend, he asked me, when can we use the FV function? Because for Excel there is a PV function, present value function, but there's also what we call the FV function, future value action. So the future value action is used only if we are repeating the deposit every year. For this, for this example, as you can see here, we add or we make an investment of $1,000, say, once at the beginning of the first year, and then we are just reinvesting the interest. Now suppose that you will make a deposit of $1,000 by the beginning of each year of these 10 years. يعني قبل كنا نجيب $1000 بس ونحط اول سنه وخلاص، ما عاد نضيف فلوس من عندنا، مره واحده بس نجيب فلوس احنا بس مره واحده، والباقي ناخذ الفوائد ونعيد ايش؟ استثمارها. تخيلوا معي الحين لو اني كل سنه جبت $1000 واستثمرت، بعد السنه اللي بعدها باخذ $1000 السنه اللي فاتت هذه مع فوائدهم، مع $1000 اجيبهم انا مره ثانيه هذول واحطهم مع بعض، والسنه الثالثه $1000 ثاني وهكذا وليك، يعني كل سنه بجيب $1000 معي. هنا نقدر نستعمل الاف دي فانكشن. اوكي، وقت الاف دي فانكشن لا لا with compound. شوف الحين with compound but الحين we will make a double compound، تركيب مرتين. will compound the principal يعني كل سنه بنضيف principal جديد $1000 جديده and the compound of interest double compound. شو الفرق؟ الحين نشوف الفرق، راح الاقي المبلغ صار مره هائل. لا لا ثابت، لازم تكون ثابته.
الو دكتور.
تفضل عبد الرحمن.
مرحبا دكتور، الحمد لله السلامة.
الله يسلمك.
الله يعطيك العافية دكتور. بالنسبة للسؤال يعني متى أحطه as a one formula which is future value يعني what is the question that is the answer is directly future value and what is the question that is need to build a table.
Okay, so when he will tell you during the exam that an investor will make one deposit, okay, at the beginning of the first year, then we'll use the mathematical formula or the table we have built right now, okay. But when he will tell you that the investor will make an annual deposit, which means every year he will bring one more $1,000. In such situation, you will use the FV function. So it depends. In the previous example, the investor brought $1,000 once. جمع $1000 مرة واحدة بس خلص وما عاد جاب فلوس من عنده أبد. هنا نطبق المثال شفناه من شوي. But when he'll tell you that he will repeat this deposit every year, in such case, we will use the FV function. Let me just, give you, let's say, a concrete example. Suppose your initial deposit is of $1,000, right? But now it will be followed by a similar deposit by the beginning of each year. See? So which means that you will make 10 deposits, not just once, 10 deposits. What would be the value of your investment by the end of year 10? So this is, the new table. See the value. It increased from 2,593 to 17,531. It's almost 5 times more than the previous, investment plan. So we can, answer this question using 2 ways. Using the FV function, which allows us to directly find the right solution, or using the detailed table, right? So I'll call it. So let me just open a new sheet and I'll call it future value annual deposits. So I have an annual deposit, which means that I will make the same deposit at the beginning of each year of $10,000 with an interest rate of 10% and number of years equal to 10 years. So the future value of your investment. So in such case, you can use the FD function, equal FV. Automatically, Excel will give you or propose you a suggestion, FV function. You click on it. And then you have to fill the FV function with inputs. First input is the rate, which is 10%. Click on the rate cell, then comma, the number of periods, 10. Now the payment, $10,000, right? Which is the regular payment or the constant payment you will do by the beginning of each year. You have to put it with the minus sign because you are paying money, depositing money. So minus B1. Then close the parenthesis. Sorry. Sorry here. This one. This one. See, I forgot one thing. See here in the inputs, you have rate, number of periods, PMT, right? Then PV type. So I left PV and type blank. And then I click enter, and I get this number, $15,937.42, which is the value of your investment by the end of 10 years. Now, if I compare this value to the textbook, I will find different value. So in textbook, he wrote, he found 17,531. Why? Why didn't you find the same value? I make a mistake. I made the mistake. Which mistake? See here. So let me just see. We have the rate, number of periods, PMT. So these are the mandatory inputs. هدول يعني الاشياء اللي لازم عليك تدخلهم عشان يطلع لك نتيجة. Then you have two optional input, PV and type, right? So the PV is the present value. We don't need it. Now the type. So after minus B1, I will put a comma. Then a second comma, which means that I'm moving to the second options. See, now the type. You have two types. 0, if you make the deposit by the end of the year. 1, if you make the deposit at the beginning of the year. If you left it blank, Excel will, by default, will take the value of 0, which is Excel will suppose you have brought this $1,000 by the end of the year, which is contrary to the assumption made by the authors. So the author have assumed that you will bring $1,000 at the beginning of each year, not by the end of each year. So you have to put 1. When you put 1, you are telling Excel that you are bringing this annual deposit by 1st of January of each year. So I will add 1. Sorry here. See, then I will have the same result as the textbook. This formula text. These are the inputs, مدخلات. The first 3 inputs are mandatory. واجبين عليك تحطهم هذول. B2 هي rate, B3 number of periods, minus B1 which is annual deposit. Then put comma, then left it blank, then put another comma, then put 1. When you put 1, you are giving instructions or you are telling Excel that this annual deposit is made at the beginning of the year. If you left it blank or if you put 0, as if you are telling Excel that you are making your deposit by the end of each year. And this, simple change will have dramatic, consequences, because we are moving from 15,000 to 17,000. شوفوا مثلا لو خليها فاضيه ما حطش الوان، يعني كاني قلت الاكسل ترى احنا بنجيب $1000 اخر كل سنه واول كل سنه، وش بيصير؟ ثروتي بتنزل $15,000 اللي كان $17,000 كامله نزلت $15,000. So you have to pay attention to the question during the exam. Yes, please.
Why did you use the semicolon? You can't use comma only.
It depends on your Excel, on the version of your Excel. Mine is using semicolon. For some or the version of Excel, you use just the comma. So see, when you click on the every function on Excel, so it will guide you.
Yes.
Comma or semi-comma, right?
دكتور
Some.
بعد إذنك بس كيف أعرف متى أحط الزيرو متى أحط الواحد؟
من السؤال
يعني
نفسه.
يذكر بالسؤال.
أي أكيد.
يذكر بالسؤال.
بالضبط، نرجع نشوف السؤال هنا ونشوف مع بعض. شفت هنا your initial deposit of $1,000 today will be followed by a similar deposit at the beginning of years. واضح؟ هو قال لك هنا at the beginning تحطي 1. لو قال مثلا at the end of years يا اما تخليها فاضيه او تحطي 0.
أوكي وضحت. شكرا.
مرحبا. هو نفس السؤال. طيب حلو. Now the second way to solve this problem is using the tail tables, right? So we need to make or to build a table with 5 columns: year, then account at the beginning of the year, then deposit, then interest, then total by the end of the year. And we should have the same result. So we go to Excel here. So we have year, balance at beginning of year, then we have the deposit at beginning of year, then the interest, and finally the balance at the end of year. So 1, 2, then we select 1 and 2, and then we scroll it down until reaching 10. خلصوا. Now we begin with $0 in our account. أنا أول شيء في البنك. And then we bring our first $1,000. The interest will be computed on the balance at the beginning of year plus the deposit we make annually times the interest rate. And since the interest rate is constant, don't forget to add the dollar sign. واضح؟ Sorry? Absolutely, yes. So B8, open the parentheses, B8, which is the balance at the beginning of year, plus C8, the deposit at the beginning of year, and close the parentheses, times the interest rate. And since the interest rate is constant, you have to add the dollar sign. And this is the main difference compared to the previous exercise. For the previous one, we just multiply the interest by the balance at the beginning of year, right? بس لأنه هنا كل سنة جالسين نضيف ديبوزيت جديد، فاحنا بنحسب الانترست على شيئين، على المبلغ اللي عندك اوريدي في البنك زائد الإضافة اللي جبتها أول السنة. هذا الاختلاف الأساسي. So here we apply the interest rate on both the balance at the beginning plus the annual deposit we are making or we are adding at the beginning of each year. خلصنا من هذا. The last column, balance of at end of the year, is equal to the balance at the beginning of year plus the annual deposit plus the interest. Okay, so the interest is equal to, so let me just speak generally. Okay, you will apply the interest on the amount of money you are investing at the beginning of year, because you will receive the interest by the end of the year, right? So by the beginning of the year, you have two sources of money. You have the money you already put at your account, right? Plus the amount you are bringing, or the annual deposits you are making every year, right? So you are applying the interest on both of them. The balance at the beginning plus the annual deposit you are adding every year. That's why the interest is equal to, see, open the parenthesis, B8, which is the balance at the beginning of year, plus the annual deposit you are adding each year, and the whole thing is multiplied by B2, which is interest rate. Now the balance at the end of year one will be the balance at the beginning of year two. اللي سكرنا بيه السنه الاولى راح نفتتح بيه السنه الثانيه، هذا اللي عاد. نروح هنا، so cell B9 equal to cell E8. So by doing so, we are giving instructions to Excel. We are telling Excel that the amount of money at the beginning of year two is the same at the end of year one. And then we will add once again $1,000. مرة أخرى أضيف $1,000. And then the interest would be equal to, open the parentheses, balance at the beginning of year plus deposit times the interest rate with the dollar sign, and balance at the end of the year is equal to, once again, balance at the beginning plus deposit plus interest, and so on. Sorry. See here, when I scroll down the pointer, the deposit has changed. It becomes 1001, 1002. So there's a problem here. So we have to pay attention. So how to deal with this situation? Since the annual deposit is constant, right? So it is equal to, الأول سطر سنة أولى, deposit at the beginning of year. Instead of typing 1000, we type equal. We go to the annual deposit, 1000, and we fix this cell by adding dollar sign. Now, when we scroll it down, we'll keep the same amount of money. This is the final sum, the final value of our investment, 17,531.167, which is the same here, using the future value function. لقيتوا الحل بنات ولا؟
الدكتور ما ثبت الإند، خلاها beginning.
الإند خليها beginning سهلة. شوفوا لما نخلص أول لاين هنا طلعنا 1100. لما أروح على الرو الثانية أو السطر الثاني، balance at the beginning of year، بشيل كل شيء، بشيل كل شيء. شو نحول هذه هنا equal، حط E8 مباشرة اكسل ياخذها ياخذ يعني رقم.
لا بس ما ثبتها، يعني حتى لما سحبتهم
اي
ما
لا
صار يطلع لي.
لا ما لازم تثبتها، لانه البالانس ات ذا اند اوف يير بيتغير كل سنه. متى نثبت؟ نثبت لما يكون عندي شيء ثابت. مثلا هنا في الديبوز هذا بيجيننج اوف يير هو ثابت كل سنه بحط $1000 صح ولا؟ وش سويت هنا؟ حطيت ايكوال لما كتب هنا انوال ديبوزيت 1000 ايكوال بي 1 وثبتها بالدولار، صارت هي ثابته. مثلا هنا لما حبيت نحسب الانترست حطيت تايمز بي 2 مع انه البي 2 الانترست ريت هو ثابت ثبته بالدولار، عدا ذلك ما ثبت ولا شيء. يعني وش عنا ثابت هنا في التمرين كله؟ عنا شيئين بس ثابتين، الانوال ديبوزيت اللي بنجيبه كل سنه والانترست ريت وبس.
اوكي.
هنسوي كده and we got the same result. يا عيال طب دقيقة بس احط بوز على التسجيل عشان بس نحل مع العيال وبعدين نرجع نواصل المحاضرة. في عندنا مشاكل هنا. طيب let's move now to the next problem, so, which means how we can use this future value feature in practical way. يعني شو نقدر نستعمل هل تعلمنا هذا في اشياء مفيدة، اشياء يعني عملية. اكثر شيء عملي ممكن نستعمله فيه هو البنشن ريتايرمنت او كيفية تنظيم يعني خلينا نقول الخروج للتقاعد. فهذا مثلا تقدروا حتى تساعدون به ابائكم وامهاتكم يعني عادي يشتغلون يعني الحين، تقول ابوك او امك تسوي كده عشان تضمن بعدين تكون عندك يعني خلينا نقول يعني تقاعد مريح. خلينا نشوف مثال عملي. So this is a retirement plan, right? So let's consider the following example. Suppose you are currently 55 years old. يعني شخص قفل 55 وبادي في 56 and intend to retire at age 60 وراح يعني يتقاعد لما يخلص 60 سنة. To make your retirement easier, you intend to start a retirement account. تفتح حساب مثلا حساب تقاعد عند البنك. At the beginning of each of years 1, 2, 3, and 4, you intend to make a deposit into the retirement plan or retirement account. Sorry, you think that the account will earn 8% per year. حساب هذا البنك تفتحه حساب تقاعد هذا راح يجيب لك 8% كل سنة. انت السنوات الجاية هذه من 56 لين تخلص 60 سنة بتحط بداية كل سنة نفس المبلغ وتخليه في الحساب هذا حساب التقاعد. After retirement at age 60, you anticipate living 8 more years. عمار بيد الله ولا محالة، بس الشخص هذا مثلا يعتقد انه يكون بيعيش في المتوسط 8 سنوات بعد التقاعد. At the beginning of each of these years, you want to withdraw $30,000 from your retirement account. هدفه انه بعد ما يطلع على التقاعد كل سنة يسحب $30,000 تعيشه مرتاح. هو يعتقد $30,000 هذه تعيشه كويس يعني. الحين سؤال how much would you deposit by the beginning of each year during your activity years so you can withdraw $30,000 once you retire. كم لازمك تحط فلوس كل سنة وانت لسه في الشغل عشان لما تطلع تقاعد تسحب $30,000 من حسابك كل سنة. المشكل فين هنا؟ If you will deposit more than you need, you will lose your money. If you will deposit less than you need, you will not be able to withdraw $30,000 and you will not be able to have a comfortable life once you retire. لازم تجيبها بالضبط. إذا بتحط فلوس بزيادة توفر فلوس بزيادة الحين ممكن توفى بعدين وتبقى عندك فلوس بالحساب يعني. ممكن زوجك تاخذهم بعدك وتاخذ عليك واحد شباب يعني لازم ما تخلي لهم ولا شيء، لا زوجتك ولا عيالك. فلوسك عندك تطلع عيش $0 لما تموت. واذا حطيت فلوس اقل من حسابك اقل من اللي تحتاجه راح تلاقي نفسك في الاخر عايش عيشه ضنك. لازم تلاقي ايش الحساب الصح، حسبه الصح بين الاثنين. شلون بنشوفها الحين. So we will build a new table with 5 columns, right? Let me just go once again to Excel. I will open new sheet and call it retirement plan. A retirement plan. So I have to make an annual deposit during my professional career. Then I have to withdraw or annual withdrawal سحب سنوي للنقود during my retirement, annual withdrawal, then we have the interest rate, %8. So I know my goal is to withdraw $30,000 annually once I will retire, but I don't know how much should I deposit during my professional career. So I have year here. So at age, then year, then account at the beginning of year, or balance at beginning of year, then deposit, then interest, and finally balance at the end of year. Remember, right now I'm 55 years old, right? So I will begin my retirement plan when I will start my first day at 56 years old, right? يعني قفلت 55 راح ابدا مشروعي هذا اول يوم وانا عمري 65 سنه 56 سنه عفوا 56 سنه. So 56 57 sorry 58 59 and 60. These are the years of my professional career. I'm still working here. لسه بشتغل. Then I anticipate that I will live 8 more years once I retire, right? So 61, 62, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 68. So I put them in a different color. So these are my retirement years. These are my working years with the orange colors, and with the green colors, these are my retirement years. So it means that I have 1, 2, so on. So my plan will cover 13 years. The first 5 years are, the working years, and the 8 remaining years are my retirement years. يعني هذا الكله بيكون سنوات العمل، هذه سنوات التقاعد. So at the beginning of my retirement plan, I have nothing on my account, nothing in my account, 0. Then I will make my first deposit. Right now, as I told you, I don't know how much should I deposit on my account. So I will make, an arbitrary decision. ناخذ شيء يعني كده اعتباطي من راسي. أي شخص. So the intuitive answer would be the following: since I need $30,000 per year once I will retire, since I anticipate to live 8 more years, this means that I need 30 times 8, $240,000. $240,000. صح ولا لا؟ لأنه أنا محتاج $30,000 كل سنة. واتوقع هيعيش 8 سنوات بعد تقاعد. يعني كم مبلغ كله؟ 30 ضرب 8. يعني هذا تفكير شخص ترى مو بدارس فاينانس، ها، بس تفكير يعني بسيط. So for somebody who has no, no knowledge about time value of money, he will make the following reasoning. He will think the following way. So years after retirement, 8 years. And the withdrawal of money he need each year of retirement by year after retirement, $30,000. So the total is simply equal to $30,000 times 8, $240,000. So these are the total of his needs once he will retire, right? And since the working years, سنواته في العمل, are 5 years, so we'll simply think that he will need to deposit $240,000 by 5. إذا هو محتاج $240,000 في 8 سنوات بعد ما يتقاعد، ولسه عنده بس 5 سنوات عشان ايش؟ يلم فيهم الفلوس هذول كله. يعني كام لازم يجمع كل سنه؟ 240,000 قسمة 5 عشان يقفل $240,000 راح يسألكم بعدين لما ايش؟ يتقاعد. هذه فكرة أي شخص عادي يعني. نحسبها كام؟ 240,000 divided by 5, $48,000. Okay, so let's go for it. So let's suppose that he has to deposit $48,000 during his professional careers, or during the 5 years remaining in his professional career. $48,000. So equal the annual deposit. Since it is a constant annual deposit, don't forget the dollar sign. And you make this deposit, the same deposit, during 5 years. See, I'm not scrolling down, sorry, until the final year, just until the year 60. So everything is okay?
Yes.
Now the interest. So we do the same thing we have done in the previous table. Interest is computed on the balance at the beginning of year. So I open the parenthesis, balance at the beginning of year plus annual deposit, close the parenthesis, times interest rate, and once again the dollar sign. C7 plus D7 times the interest rate. Then, at the end of the year, the balance will be equal to the balance at the beginning plus the deposit plus the interest. And once again, The balance at the end of year 1 is the balance at the start of year 2. So we go here, second row, equal to F7. And same thing for the interest, balance at the beginning plus the annual deposit times the interest. Don't forget the dollar sign. And finally, the balance at the end, beginning, plus deposit, plus interest. Then we can scroll it down until the end of the year 60. By doing so, he will have 304,124.59 once he will retire. لما يخرج على التقاعد مباشرة يجي عنده في الحساب أكثر من اللي كان متوقع. ليش؟ لأنه ما حسب حساب الانترست ريت المركب الكومباوند انترست ريت. هو كان متوقع بس راح يجيب 240,000 دولار آخر 5 سنوات، بس لا، الطريقة هذه حصل أكثر من اللي كان متوقع. المهم الحين بنشوف نمر على المرحلة الثانية. هنا انتبهوا المرحلة الثانية. في الديبوزيت هنا هحطوه بالماينس ساين. ليش؟ لأنه لما يخش على التقاعد يصير يسحب فلوس. يسحب كام؟ 30,000. يعني بروح هنا في الديبوزيت ويصير equal minus the annual withdrawal minus B2. And since this withdrawal is constant, I have to add the dollar sign right before and after the B. Now at the year 6, it will be equal to the balance at the end of year 5 and then scroll it down. See, we find that by the end of his presumed life, when he will pass away, he will leave $218,286 in his bank account, which means that he has deposited much more than he needs when he was working. أخونا هذا سوى الخيار الخطأ، يعني حوش أو ادخر مبلغ أكثر بكثير من يستحقه. Because he deposited $48,000 during these 5 years, he consumed $30,000 each year, and yet he left $218,286 on his balance account. So he left all this money to his wife and his children. So he will not benefit from all this money. This means that he has made the wrong choice regarding the annual deposit. So he has to reconsider the amount of money he was depositing once he was working. يعني هو ضغط على نفسه بزيادة لما كان يشتغل، وحرم نفسه بزيادة لما كان يشتغل، وحط مبالغ أكثر من يستحق. طب وش المبلغ الصح؟ What would be the right amount of deposit should allow him to have zero here? الهدف الأساسي أنه لما يتوفى شخص هذا, when he will pass away, he must leave zero on his balance account. Okay, so we will use the solver. So we go to data. So equal to minus B2, right? See here, and add the dollar sign. Because I put the annual withdrawal on the cell B2. اوكي ايه لازم تحط ثابت المبلغ. So how we can solve this problem? All right. So we'll use the solver. So go to data here, see, on the top of the Excel sheet. Then go to what if analysis, right? Then go to goal seek. Or we can directly use the solver here. شفتوا؟ حل من اثنين. Okay, so let's go to solver. So if you are comfortable with solver, so we can directly use solver, right? So solver, we have to set an objective. So our objective is to make this cell F19, which is the balance at the end of the final year, equal to 0. So value of value of 0. Then go to solving method, nonlinear. So you have to check this out. You have to put the nonlinear one, see? Then go to solve. So by changing variable cells, by changing the annual deposit, we are looking for the right annual deposit, right? Which is B1. Then click on solve. See, he makes the iteration and he finds the right value, 29,386.55. So this is the right amount you have to deposit by the beginning of each of your working years during 5 years, so you can have, you know, a good retirement without leaving an extra money on your account once you pass away. So this one is -9, see, exponential -1, which means 0.00000009. It's almost equal to 0, right? So I can go here. I can make, you know, increase decimals. I'll make it general or number here. See, have 0. So this is the right answer or the right annual deposit you have to make to ensure that you will have a good retirement without leaving extra money in your balance.
Victor,
Sam?
can you do it again, please?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll do it again. So we have supposed that we will, you know, deposit $48,000 or any other number. I can put, you know, for example, $40,000. Okay, it's an arbitrary number. رقم كده عشوائي يجيبوه. With $40,000, we will have $124,467 by the end of the final year, which is not, you know, what I'm looking for. I'm looking to have 0 here, which means that I'm saving more money than that I really need when I'm working. ايش معنى؟ يعني الحين جالس اضغط على نفسي بزياده واحوش بزياده اكثر من اللازم. يقول يعني يحوش بزياده، شو يعني يدخر بزياده؟ يعني يحرم نفسه من سفره، يحرم نفسه من اكل كويس، من لبس كويس على الفاضي يعني. So I have to find the right amount of money. The right amount of money is the one who will give me 0 here. طيب شلون يعني نلاقي لها حل هذه؟ So we go to, so you click on the final cell. See هذه, this one. I want to make this one equal to 0. I go to data. I go to solver. Click on solver. There's a window opened. See, set objective F19, which is the final cell here, to value of 0. And in order to reach this value of 0, I have to change the annual deposit, right? 40,000 هذه. So just click on the cell of annual deposit. So I'm giving here instructions to Excel to try different values of annual deposit. So Excel will change automatically this value. مرة احط 30,000، مرة احط 35,000، مرة 37,000، مرة يغير الفاليو لحاله الين يوصل F19 تساوي 0، وقتها بيوقفه. Then I click on solve. Excel see will make the required iterations. خلاص يعطينا النتيجة الصح. Then keep solver solution. Click on OK. So for this annual deposit value, I will have 0 here. So we not have exactly 0, but very close to 0. So this is the right amount of money you have to save and deposit during your working years, so you can benefit from a good retire or comfortable retirement with a withdrawal of $30,000. هنا تقدر بنفس الوقت تعيش حياتك عادي لين 60، تستهلك عادي وتدلع نفسك، ونفس الوقت تحط فلوس اللازمه. يعني قبل كنت مره حارم نفسك، كنت تحط $48,000 كامله تخبيهم، يعني ما تستهلكهم. هنا لا، ما يحتاج، تحط بس الرقم هذا خليه على جنب، وباقي استهلكه عادي ودلع نفسك وعيالك واهلك وما في مشكله. بالرقم هذا تلاقي نفسك في الاخر عشت يعني تقاعد سهل، في الاخر يعني جيت يعني بالضبط 0. لا انت لا ليك ولا عليك. هذه الفكره كلها. تفخين. Hey, so yes, so you expect to live 8 years, right, after the retirement, and you expect to need $30,000 for each one during each one of these 8 years, صح؟ يعني في 8 سنوات كاملة. 80,000 ضرب 3، عفوا 8 ضرب 30,000، 8 سنوات $240,000. حلو؟ هذا انت تحتاجه في الريتايرمنت حقك. اتفقنا؟ طيب انت تفكر تقول عشان احوش مبلغ هذا لسه عندي 5 سنين بس شغل، يعني لازم كل سنه احوش كام؟ 240,000 قسمة 5، فاصير اوفر كل سنه $48,000. بس هذه هي. طيب let's take a little break of 10 or 15 minutes, then we resume the class, okay? Assalamu alaikum. So let's resume our class. So one final thing regarding the retirement plan. So we have learned how to solve the retirement plan using the solver, right? Now we'll see how to do it using what you call a numerical analysis. So there is a formula that we can use directly and which allow us. So there is a formula that we can use that will give us the right answer directly, right? So we have to think or to look at the problem with the following way. We have two types, we have two phases, two steps. The first step is about depositing money, right? And the second step is about withdrawing money, right? To have the right balance, we have to make things such the sum of our deposits should be equal to the sum of our withdrawals. هذا هدفنا الأساسي. لازم نلاقي حل بأنه مجموع الفلوس اللي بنحطها بتساوي بالضبط مجموع الفلوس اللي نحتاجها بس نطلع على التقاعد. And we have to do so by taking into account the time value of money. Okay, so let's see how we can solve this problem. So this is how to use to solve the problem using the solver. Now, using the financial formulas, right? So as I told you, we have to reach the balance between the deposits and the withdrawals. To do so, we need two functions. We need the PV function and we need the PMT, or the flat payment function. So we have the present value of withdrawals and the payment flat of annual deposit, and we have to make these two, series equals to each others. So let me just show you how to do it. So still using the retirement plan, right?
Excuse me, Doctor.
Yes, Abdullah.
Sorry, Doctor, but could you share your screen?
Okay, yes. So this is, the retirement problem. So we have to use the PV function for the withdrawals and the PMT function for the annual deposits. So first you have to, to identify the inputs, the interest, the annual withdrawals, the years of withdrawals, and the years of deposit, right? And the unknown variable is the annual deposit. I'll show you now how to find the unknown variable or the unknown annual deposit using these formulas. So the input that we need is the interest, the annual withdrawal, the years of withdrawal, and years of deposits. Then we have to compute the present value of withdrawals, and finally we can find the annual deposit. So the interest is equal to 8%. And we need to withdraw $30,000. Now, how many years of withdrawals? We have from 61 to 68, which means 8 years. So 8 years of withdrawals. And how many years of deposits? From 56 to 60, which means, so we have the count here, see? You have just to select the years, and Excel will give you the count, automatically the count. So the count is 5, which means 5 years of deposit. So these are the required inputs. Everything is okay? Okay. Now, the second or the next step, you have to compute the present value of the withdrawals. By present value, I mean the value of withdrawals at T0, right? At T0, which means here, at the beginning of year 1, right? So here, we will use the PV function, equal PV function, present value function, click on it, the rate, so these are the requirements, rates, so we have, the required inputs, have the rate first, then comma, number of periods, 8 years of withdrawals, and now the payments, $30,000. See, we have here a negative number, so I must add the negative sign for the payments. I can transform it into number, not currency. See this value? This is not the right value. Still, we need to add modification. Why? This is the present value of withdrawals at the start of year 6. Because we started to make withdrawals by the end of year 6, right or not?
Yes.
Right? So as if we are computing the present value at the beginning of year 6, which is not true. We have to turn back or to go back in the past and to reaching the beginning of year 1. Let me just explain you by drawing this, by using the board here. So this is the timeline, right? We are here at T0. T1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the first phase, المرحلة الأولى, which is deposits. And then we move to the second phase, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Right? This is the second phase, which is the withdrawal. The second phase covers 8 years. And the first phase covers 5 years. شفتوا? The second phase runs from year 6 to year 13 through 8 years. The cells with the green colors. And the first phase with the orange colors runs from year 1 to year 5. Now, if you use the present value here for the deposits, you will be here. So you will try to find the present value of all these withdrawals and you will bring them here. Because we are starting making withdrawals by the end of year T equal to 5, right? But we are located here. Make it to girl, right? معنا بنات نحطهم بنت هنا. So T0 we are here, right? So we must make a second present value and see, move this present value to T0. So when you use the present value function first, you locate yourself here by the end of year T5, right? But you will start your retirement plan at T0, not at T5, at T0. So you have once again to move this present value to T0, which means that you have to return back in the past by 5 years. So the PV function here, the result that we will have here using the PV function, you must bring it back at T0, which means that you have to divide it by 1 plus the discount rate power 5. Once you do so, you will move this present value at T0. So we go at the present value here, see, function, and I will divide it by 1 plus the discount factor, which is the interest rate, power 5. This is the real present value of withdrawals. So equal formula text so it's the formula text, right? See, so it is equal to the PV function, the ordinary one, right? Then you have to divide it by 1 plus the interest rate power the number of years of deposits, which is 5 years here.
We put the decimal
Sorry?
I go to
Negative sign. So you go here to the PV function, see the PV function here. When you click on the cell for the annual withdrawal B23, right? You have to add just the minus sign for the annual withdrawal. Then you will have the result on a positive sign. 37. Now, the annual deposit should be equal to this present value. So equal to, then we will use the PMT function. The rate is 8%. The number of periods now for deposit is 5 years. Now the PV is, sorry, I have to free some space here. So we'll use the PMT function, rate 8%, periods of deposit 5, and PV function, which is the present value we have just computed right now. And then once again, I have to add the minus sign for the PV function, and I get 29,386.55, which is the same one here. See, we got the same one. So equal, so it's formula text. So this is the second way to find the right amount of annual deposits. We can either use the table and the solver, or we can directly use the financial formula using the PV, then the PMT function. So the only trick here is about using using the present value twice. Once using the PV function, and then you have to do it once again to bring the whole money, the whole amount at T0. Yes, please, Abdurrahman.
Doctor, could you repeat that annual deposits?
Annual deposits, right? So once you have determined the present value of withdrawals, okay, you go to annual deposits. So we will use the PMT function. So the PMT function, let me just remind you, is about finding a constant annuity, which is the case here, which means we are looking for a constant amount of money that we are depositing each time. That's why we're using the PMT function of flat payment that will be equal to the present value of withdrawals. So equal PMT function. Then you have to introduce or to add the required inputs. We have to start by rate. So the rate of interest rate is 8%. Now the number of periods of deposits, not withdrawals, is 5. Then it has to be equal to the present value we have computed right now. So PV, so minus the PV of withdrawals, and then close the parentheses, and that's it.
Yes, clear, Doctor. But the second question, please, Doctor.
Yes.
What is the reason to divide the present value of 1 plus the rate of return?
Okay.
The idea.
Okay. So, شوف عبد الرحمن. The PV function, right? If we apply the PV function, it will give you the present value of the withdrawals at the beginning of the withdrawal phase, right? هنا يعني. احنا متى بدينا نسوي في سحب الاموال؟ نهايه السنه الخامسه وبدايه السنه السادسه، يعني هنا بالضبط. لما تستعمل PV function تعطيك القيمه الحاليه للاموال اللي سحبناها هنا في بدايه عمليه السحب اللي هو التي 5، بس احنا موجودين في تي 0.
So you are just trying to make it at the year 1 instead of year.
So we have to make a second discount to bring this amount of money to T0.
Thank you very much. It's clear now. Thank you.
Okay. طيب خلصنا. So I'll give you an example and you have to solve it by your own, right? It's about the retirement plan. So I'll give you, so please take note. هنقول suppose you are currently 45 years old. Suppose you are 45 years old. يعني عمرك الحين 45 سنة. 45 years old. You expect to retire at age 62. At age 62. And you plan to start a retirement account, sorry. And you plan to start a retirement account. A retirement account with the following characteristics. With the following characteristics. With the following characteristics. First point, the account will earn 5% per year. The account will earn, EARN, will earn 5% per year. After retirement, you anticipate living 15 more years. 15 سنة. You anticipate living 15 more years. After retirement, you want to withdraw $40,000. 40,000. $40,000. And your account will continue to earn 5%. Will continue to earn 5%.
Doctor?
Yes.
Could you please repeat the last point?
Yes, when your account after retirement, your account will continue to earn 5%. أي بيوصل يعطيك 5% أرباح حتى بعد التقاعد. The question is, how much should you deposit? How much should you deposit annually in the account? how much should you deposit annually in the account using the solver and financial formulas. Using the solver and financial formulas. يلا بسرعة.
Doctor, please, the first two characteristics, please.
قلنا you are actually قلنا 45 years old. هيك بس. At the beginning of each of years, you intend to make a deposit into the retirement plan when you think that the account will earn 5% per year. واللي بعدها after retirement, you anticipate living 15 more years. And you want to withdraw $45,000 and the account balance will continue to earn 5%. هذول يعني المعطيات اللي عندنا.
The first one, Doctor, please, again.
When the first one, currently you are 45 years old, right? You intend to retire at age 62.
62. Okay.
62, okay? بعدين قلنا deposit into retirement account. This retirement account will earn you what will earn 5% per year. Will earn 5% per year. After retirement, you anticipate living 15 more years. After retirement, you want to withdraw $40,000 and the account balance after retirement will continue to earn 5%.
Yes, clear. Thank you, Doctor.
يلا. So I give you 10 minutes. Then I will ask you now for your answers. Sorry? Yes. Okay, so let's see how to solve properly or correctly this problem, right? So the trick is to identify the number of years of withdrawal and exact number of years of deposits, right? This is the most important thing because we have already the structure of the table, right? So let me just share the screen with you. طيب هذا شو retirement plan سويناه في التمرين اللي قبل صح؟ So I will just, to save time, just, make the copy. And I'll paste it here. Now the annual withdrawal right now is equal to $40,000 instead of 30,000. So I will change the annual withdrawal. So I will take an arbitrary, value of annual deposit. The value you want, it's an arbitrary value. So you are free to choose, the value which seems to the most suitable to you. Let's say $25,000, for example. Sorry. Let's say $25,000. Interest rate 5% instead of 8%. Now, see, in the table, you have two parts. We have the orange part and the green part. The orange part coincides with the deposits phase, right? And the green part coincides with the withdrawal parts. Now, let's get back to the data of the retirement plan problem. Currently, the guy, he is 45 years old, right? صح ولا؟ He's now 45 years old, which means that he already closed 45 years old. And now he started the 46 years, right? So here at age 46. So he will start the deposits at 46, not at 45, at 46 until 62. So he will retire, which means that by the end of the year 62, he will retire and he will start withdrawing money at age 63. So the orange phase will start from 46 to 62, while the green phase will start from 63. So 46 here. Then I have 47. Then I will select 46, 47 and scroll it down until I reach 62. See? 62. So occasionally I will delete all this part. I will change it into orange colors. Now the deposit is $25,000. The interest, see, 5%. Then so see, I have 17 years of deposits. So the number, so Abdurrahman and Yasser were very close to the right answer. But the mistake that I guess they made, that they have started the deposit at age 45, not 46. See, and this little mistake has ruined everything. Now I will select, see the second row, and Sam?
From where did you get 25,000?
It's an arbitrary value، بطريقة اعتباطية، حط اللي تحب عليه أنت. بعدين بيصلحها اكسل عن طريق السولفر. Okay, so by depositing $25,000 each year, I will get $678,309 by the end of my professional career. Now I will start my retirement. حين بنبدأ ايش؟ في التقاعد. At age 63. Then 64. So I will put this one with the green color. And I need 15 years. So I'm expecting to leave 15 years after term. So I will select this one and scroll it down. See this count here, 14. So I need one more year. So 77. So my retirement period will start at the age of 63 and it will end at the age of 77. Now, starting from 63, I will withdraw money. So it is equal to minus the withdrawal, which is given to me, minus B2. And since it is a constant withdrawal, I will add the dollar sign. You will have 18, 19, and so on. Or I can, for example, put it 1, 2. So it will be more relevant here. See, so I have 17 years of deposits and 15 years of withdrawals. Equal. And then I will scroll down until the end of the table. And clearly, I have chosen the wrong value of deposits, because if I deposit $25,000, then I will withdraw $40,000 each year. By the end of my plan, there is almost $500,000 left in my balance account, which is not the right thing to do. I should have zero here. So I will go to data solver. I'll get the value of F38. See here, she is the final cell or the last cell to value of 0 by changing the annual deposits, and then click on solve. Now let's just wait for a few seconds, and that's it. So the right answer is $16,067.
To be honest, it looks like this is starting of the five.
لا شوف ايش قال في السؤال هو؟ He's currently what? 45 years old صح؟
And you can.
Then now he will plan. يعني هو قفل 45 الحين. قفل 45. شو نقول he's currently 45 يعني قفل 45. مو بداية 45. شوف في التمرين اللي قبله في الكتاب نفسه قال لك he's currently اتوقع وين 55 years old. شفت مثلا لو تلاحظ معي متى سوى الديبوزيت اوف يعني الديبوزيت سوى سنه اولى ثانيه ثالثه رابعه وخامسه صح؟ خمسه وبطل. وانت الحين كنت 55 عارف في السؤال هذا 55 56 57 59 ومتى تسوي الريتايرمنت؟ في ال 60. لازم تبدا الديبوزيت في ال 56. انت قفلت 55 وبديت تفكر انك تسوي الريتايرمنت بلان. حسب التنفيذ في السنه اول السنه اللي جاي. هذه يعني الخدعه كلها. كده قلت لك من الاول ياسر تاكد من السنوات هل هي صح او لا. طب شو نعرف الحين صح او لا نفسنا؟ When we compare the results that we will have using the financing formulas, if they coincide with the results with the table, this means that we are doing the right job. If not, this means that we are doing or we are having some mistakes any in any place in the table. خلينا نثبت مع بعض ونشوف. Now using the financing formulas, I need some inputs. So the inputs are interest, annual withdrawal, years of withdrawals, years of deposits. صح؟ بنشوف. So interest, annual withdrawal, years of withdrawals, and years of deposit. Then I have to find the present value, صح? Of withdrawals. Then present value of withdrawals, and then I can find the annual deposits. So the interest is 5%. Now the annual withdrawals is $40,000. Now the years of withdrawal with the green color have 15 years. 15. Now the years of deposits 17. Now let's start by the present value of withdrawals. So equal the PV, the rate, then the number of periods of withdrawals is 15, then the payment which is 40,000 with the minus sign. Let's return. I have to make a second discount, right, to bring this whole amount of money to T0. بكام سنة برجع ورا؟ الفورمولا ايش الفورمولا هي؟ divide by 1 plus the interest power the number of years of deposits. هي 17. وبس. So this is the formula text. Now the annual deposits, annual deposit is equal the flat payment, so rate of 5%, periods of deposits 17, and now the present value, which is minus its present value. شفتوا have the same result.
دكتور we was very close.
Yes, very close. صح بس لو ما كانت ميسون جاوبت صح كنت عايزكم درجة بس ما دام هي جاوبت صح خلاص.
she deserve.
صح لا بس. Yes. So actually, why I gave you this problem, because I remember that last time I gave the same problem to my students. The most common error was about the years, or from which year will start the deposit. So you started 1 year earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just about يعني we supposed to
صح.
consider 45 years.
في الاختبار شو انت عارف راح نفس صح ولا عبد الرحمن في الاختبار. So you have to compare the results that you found using the table with those using the financial formulas.
The problem, doctor, I find the same results before.
لأنك سويت خطأ في number of years of withdrawals أو في number of years of deposits.
When I just adjusted, I just find the right answer.
طيب خلصنا اليوم يعطيكم الصحة. That's it for this first chapter. So next week, inshallah, we should achieve the second and the fourth chapter. The fourth chapter is a very simple one. It is mainly based on the second chapter. So we should be able to achieve both of them next time, inshallah. And the week after, we should have our midterm exam. It will be on this first chapter, on chapter number 2 and chapter number 4. Okay, thank you everyone, and see you next time, inshallah.
Thank you, doctor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, doctor.
Welcome.